That had to be one of the shittiest Octobers of my life. And I knew it was going to be when I found out Halloween was on a Monday. I mean, first of all, doesn't that just suck for all the kids who have school? But nobody wants to party on the first day of a work week. For the first time in my life, I get laryngitis and completely lose my voice. As you can probably still hear, I'm trying to get over it. That was a week gone right there. I order something very special off eBay for a review, but it shows up a month late. The power cord on my laptop goes on the fritz, and so I have to order a new one. That's time wasted right there. And on top of all that, some subhuman piece of shit steals half my tombstones. There has got to be a character that embodies how I feel right now about Halloween. Luckily, I think I found it. Now, the real Ghostbusters was very much a Monster of the Week series. However, that is not to say that they didn't have recurring villains. The Boogeyman is probably one of the most famous enemies in the series, not only because he showed up twice, but the fact that his first appearance was such a classic. But this is about Halloween, and we're talking about a regular villain that always popped up around this time of year. He's one of the most celebrated, but somehow still under or misused characters in the franchise. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Samhain.
All things of the night are mine, on this night more than any other. For I am Samhain. I am Halloween.
I am the Pumpkin King!
In his first appearance, the episode opens up with the Ghostbusters in the middle of a rash of hauntings that seem to be getting tougher and tougher to handle the closer it gets to Halloween.
PKE readings have been increasing all month across the city, but they took a real jump when some ancient ruins from Ireland arrived 2 weeks ago. The ruins date from the 7th century.
7th century Ireland? That's where Halloween started. It marked the transition to a time when the nights got longer, scarier.
The Irish and Scottish immigrants brought it to America, where we called it Halloween.
Boring. You talk too much. No one wants to learn. Start ranting about stuff you hate.
Tell a green goblin farting joke.
Meanwhile, across town, Samhain is making one hell of an entrance, only to be accompanied by one of the weirdest songs in the series ever. You see, they had this real Ghostbusters album. It was just a bunch of random pop songs that they could plug into the cartoons and then sell later. The only equivalent I could think of is something Pokemon did. But could you have picked a more random song? What the hell does Frankenstein have to do with this? And the obvious choice for a scary city montage is this.
That was close. We're safe now.
Hey, little kid, can I get you anything before I get you?
Naturally, it doesn't take long for the Ghostbusters to realize they've got another Twinkie on their hands, and even less time passes before they piss off the Great Pumpkin.
Cut that out. Look, don't make me come up there.
Oh my god, I love that face for some reason. It's the perfect WTF face. Here, let me try a few things.
I was frozen today!
Oh my god!
Okay, I should probably stop. After all, everyone knows, whatever you do, don't cross the memes.
Of course! Halloween began as the Feast of Samhain. Samhain was supposed to be a creature of night, who no one could stop. Oh boy.
It is good to know I am remembered.
Okay, first of all, there's a couple of things about this guy that don't track. Fact 1, Samhain was a New Year's celebration and was never a person. Fact 2, if he couldn't be stopped, then why was he in prison? Fact 3, you carved jack-o'-lanterns to scare spirits away. This guy having one for his head is more ironic than Dracula wearing a What Would Jesus Do band. Fact 4, there weren't any pumpkins in Ireland or Scotland. The natives would use turnips and other root vegetables. That is until they immigrated to America, where apparently one of the opportunities was not having to bust your ass hollowing out a rock-hard fodder beat and use this festively colored, already hollowed-out gourd. My point is, this guy's head needs to look like this. So what exactly does the Americanized spirit of Halloween want?
I have come to give my gift. The gift of eternal night. Eternal Halloween. Eternal me.
So then the Ghostbusters have to travel to the Everfree Forest to find the elements of harmony. And, alright. Ponies and Ghostbusters don't mix. Hee Pinkie Pie's got the goggles. Actually, Egon just flashes a light on him and the unstoppable creature of the night runs away. And to be honest, the episode is really downhill from here. Don't get me wrong, there are a few nice touches with the animation, like Egon playing with the flashlight, but the plot from this point is just by the books and the action really fizzles out. Egon gets the idea to use these giant spotlights that just happen to be sitting next to the building. Meanwhile, the others head up to the roof to distract Samhain. And I have to say, I think this boring scene right here is a tribute to Ghostbusters on NES, but they're actually making it up the stairs. But when they actually reach the top, they find out that Captain Keratonesis here is holding Slimer hostage and is threatening to gently massage him out of existence. But then Egon switches on the lights and they punch his out. No problem.
Well, that wasn't such a chore now, was it?
The next appearance of Samhain is in Halloween 2.5. What does the 1/2 stand for? I have no idea. Maybe it's the fact that they included the junior Ghostbusters in this one. Yes, not even this series could dodge the cliche of having a less effective, more annoying kid version of your heroes.
We're the junior Ghostbusters, and we're not afraid of no ghosts.
Oddly enough, their introduction and only other appearance was in the second episode that featured the Boogeyman. Yet another reason not to hang around these kids. They're made of repeats. Although I have to say, Samhain is a little more threatening in this one.
You didn't actually think you could keep Samhain, the spirit of Halloween, locked up forever, did you, Ghostbuster?
In here I thought fruit prevented scurvy. It all starts at a party at the firehouse, where those goblins from last time break in and release their master again. Which begs the question. I know they're probably waiting until next Halloween, that way Samhain could be at full power again, but why did they wait centuries to release him the first time? What, were they busy in the Muppet rendition of the Road Warrior? So the first order of business is transforming the firehouse into an impenetrable fortress of the night. Kind of wondering why you didn't do that the first time. So while the Ghostbusters try to find a way into the tower, the junior Ghostbusters do their own investigation and end up getting captured. Really? How did that happen? I mean, I know you don't have proton packs in the Ecto-1 like the real Ghostbusters.
He said it!
But you guys have a go-kart and a giant slingshot. Well, congratulations, kids. You are officially more useless at fighting monsters than Ernest P. Worrell. Well, luckily Egon discovers an keystone in Samhain's fortress.
Which means? We get the kids out, then concentrate our beams here, and the fortress will collapse.
At first you'd think it would be difficult to get to, being at the heart of the fortress and all, but it turns out it's an easy shot right through the window.
Alert! The control point is being contested. You failed. Prepare for sudden death. The enemy has received additional time. Humiliating defeat. Next time, try killing one of them.
Well, aside from an anticlimactic ending as bad as the first one, I like this episode better. There's a part where Slimer's going through the fortress that is just plain creepy awesome. Now I guess I should talk about the Halloween Door, the third Halloween special in the series, but that one doesn't feature Samhain at all. That's because this is a primetime special, and it's actually a defense of Halloween. It's all about some chodehead that wants to get rid of Halloween. He says he wants to do it because of the kids, but he's a total ass to them, too.
Trick or treat! In your face.
Long story short, he steals some equipment from the Ghostbusters and basically creates a magic wand that gets rid of everything related to Halloween. So let's review. This guy is anti-Halloween, but pro-naked children. Anyway, it turns out that this was a bad thing because...
2,000 years ago, the Earth was infested by demons, but the druids struck a deal. The worst of the demons would go off to the netherworld on one condition.
Let me guess. They wanted us to remember them.
Exactly. Halloween.
You know, I understand the importance of defending Halloween, or really anything from extremists, but this doesn't seem to fit with the continuity of the series. First of all, you establish that Halloween doesn't work this way because of Samhain. He shows up whether you celebrate it or not. Plus, there's a lot of musical numbers, and this guy literally rips off the Grinch.
Don't like jack-o'-lanterns. I say pumpkins shouldn't smile. Smash and bash and crash them from the east side to the Nile. Fools deserve a swift demise.
The animation in this episode is fantastic. But I always thought of it as one of those what-if specials. Like how Sally just happens to show up in the Sonic Christmas special for no reason. What was up with that? Yeah, moving on, let's talk about the Extreme Ghostbusters. I've told you about these guys before. The 4 college students that Egon recruited just because they happened to show up on the first day of class. And those kids that spent most of their childhood pretending to be Ghostbusters? The only reason I bring this up is because the redesign of Samhain is supposed to be in the opening and closing credits, yet he never actually appears as a villain in the show. But oddly enough, he does get his own action figure in the Extreme Ghostbusters line of toys. I just find it interesting that it took them about 10 years to release a figure, and it's in the series that he never appeared in. And the kids that spent most of their childhood always wanting a Samhain toy as a kid?
In your face.
Samhain also made a number of appearances in the many Ghostbuster comic book lines. For some reason, comic books was just the one medium that the Ghostbusters never took to, at least as a substantial series. Well, except for the United Kingdom, they had a series that lasted 193 issues, and I heard it was really good. But I'm not gonna pay import fees like some kind of desperate Canadian. But I do have to talk about one comic, released in America by IDW Publishings. It's a one-shot holiday special featuring Samhain as the protagonist. Sorta. First, let me just say that it was the artwork that first attracted me towards this. The line art is done by Dan. I really don't know how to pronounce your last name. I've heard people call it Shane, otherwise known as Dapper Dan. He's an amazing artist with a unique style, and any Ghostbuster fan worth his ectoplasm should check out his collection of Ghostbuster art. And although he usually colors his own stuff, for this he's teamed up with a great colorist, Luis Delgado. So be sure to check both these guys out for some great art and previews of future issues of their Ghostbusters series. Anyway, back to this comic. Turns out some rich guy is getting ready for a Halloween party when something strange is going on. Now, he's a sleazy producer who wants to use the haunting at his mansion as an opportunity to hire and film the Ghostbusters for a reality show. Egon is far too dubious of the shady businessman, and they refuse to take the job. But it turns out that Janine could really use the money because, well, do you know how much a Scalicateri makes in this economy? So she offers to do the job herself. Really? Was it that or the hot pink jumpsuit? Janine, you are at least 40 years old. You need to be wearing something age-appropriate, like some really tight blue leopard print stretch pants. So aside from being an excuse to put Janine in some short shorts, why is this happening? What is the malevolent spirit of Halloween doing haunting some old mansion when he could be taking over the city? Well, the answer is, he's not. This is not the Samhain.
So are you related to that?
No, it's just a coincidence.
During her investigation, Janine finds out that Samhain is actually the ghost of a famous magician who died trying to perfect a new escape act. Because everyone knows you practice that kind of stuff in the deepest recesses of your secret passage-ridden mansion without any means of contacting the outside world in case something goes wrong. And for an extra twist, turns out that he and Dickless here used to be business partners. That is until he was backstabbed, forcing the illusionist to try and restart his act to make up for the money he lost. Yeah, but here's where it gets weird. Samhain isn't out for revenge. He just wants to pass over to the other side on Halloween, because that's when the barrier between the spirit world is its weakest. Janine actually befriends the ghost and promises to give his body a proper burial after he crosses over.
That's it? That's it? No explosions? No hellfire? No... I mean, no, I'm glad everybody's alright, but yeah, that was weak.
Visually, this comic is a triumph. Not only for the artwork and redesign of Samhain, but for all the little Easter eggs tucked in there, like Janine's magic lamp, the portrait of Vigo, the thing in Mrs. Flabersham's attic. Samhain's minions make a cameo, and just a bunch of other callbacks to other great cartoons. And I have no idea if this guy is supposed to be the cartoon Venkman or Ash from Evil Dead.
Hail to the king, baby.
And even the story is okay, I guess, if you ignore the fact that Samhain is not the spirit of Halloween, and there are no real conflicts, which is kind of a theme for Samhain. I mean, I might be stepping on people's toes here, but when I think about it, there's nothing really outstanding about him. What does he want? To take over the world. How's he gonna do it? With an army of ghosts and the eternal night. And his weakness is light. Not even sunlight, just regular light. A flashlight is enough to bug the crap out of him. Aside from the fact that he has a pumpkin for a head, there's nothing really Halloween about him. If we pull him out and plug him into stories without it mattering one bit, overall he's just kinda generic. Which is how I feel right now. Just going through the motions. That's what he means to me. This guy is the spirit of my Halloween 2011. Yeah, it was good, but just whatever. But I guess when you're a Ghostbuster, Halloween is just another day.
Foolish mortal, you dare besmirch the name of Samhain.
You know what? I'm not even in the mood for this. Just get the fuck out.
Why does nothing ever turn out like it should? Well, what the heck? I went and did my best, and by God, I really tasted something swell. That's right. And for a moment, why, I even touched the sky. At least I left some stories they can tell. I did.
Yeah, listen, I was probably way too harsh on my final thoughts with you. It's just that, have you ever felt like nothing has gone your way?